Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 16, episode 1, and today we're back as usual for our transfer special. Before we play a one-off game at Wembley, this time the Community Shield final versus City. It's not a particularly important game, but it is of course a chance to win a brand new competition, and we're at the home of football in England again, so it's another chance for us to impress on the big stage. But before we get started today, I've just got to remind you of the schedule changes coming up on the channel. As of today, we'll be showing this series 5 days a week now instead of 3. So from Sunday to Thursday, every day at 4:30, we'll have an episode from this Torquay United story. So make sure you come and check out the next one tomorrow, as you won't have the 2-day wait you normally have. If you're new to the channel and enjoying the content, please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel for this daily series, as well as career mode content from Cricket 19 and Snooker 19 as well. Then in addition to that, we've got our usual summer problems, a number of players unhappy because we've either not let them go, not been able to pay them enough, or not let them move to a big club for bigger money. So it's a few little problems around there, but we're doing okay this summer, and although we've been a little busier than I'd have expected, partly because of my own stupidity, we have now got a good squad capable of competing, as long as everyone gets on board quite quickly. So let's go and have a look at our transfer centre. We're still getting offers for players like Bacanes. They're not going anywhere, I can assure you of that. We've got 5 days left until the transfer window shuts, just because we're back earlier for this Community Shield final. So let's have a look at our transfer history. 5 players bought in, a combined total of 132 million, and you can see most of that's gone on one man. We've broken our transfer record for the 3rd or 4th summer in a row, as we continue to improve the squad with world-class players. But this time we've also sold quite a lot as well. 95 million going out of the club, meaning a net spend of less than 40 million. Not bad for a club in our position. So let's focus on the outs first. Craig Lonergan-Irwin was a big money sale, who caused more problems than I'd expected later in the window. We really did end up regretting letting him go to Watford for 22.5 million. A really good deal for the club and a good servant for us, but he wasn't quite good enough to push us on, and we got a brilliant young player to give an opportunity to instead. Next was Alvaro Gonzalez. He was one of the 2 we'd always planned to let go, and he's gone along to Napoli, a decent deal for the club. 15 million up front and a bit more in potential future fees, so another good deal for us. Emmanuel Fibracima, one of the youngsters at the club, he's gone to Preston on a permanent deal. We loaned him out last year and it had a future fee if he made a certain amount of appearances. He did that and he's moved to them permanently now, and we've got a big sell on if we need it. And then Lucas Beja went for £10 million, a really good deal for a 31-year-old. He was our 4th or 5th choice centre-half as well, so I'm really pleased we got that money for him. And then James Hayes went to Aston Villa, a good servant for the club but was out on loan at the end of last season. He's gone for 25 million up front, and that one could be rising to 30. So decent for squad players that weren't involved, and of course it brings in good income to the club. There was one more later in the window as well, 2 more in fact towards the end. There's a few youngsters going out on loan, and one that went for 50,000, but the big 2 were Stevie Maxwell, our backup keeper of years gone by, and of course our first choice in the first Premier League seasons. He's gone to Norwich of the Championship, 6.5 million for him. And then Fabian Palacios, another man who's been out on loan, he went to Schalke for 13.75 million. A really good deal for a player that hasn't reached his potential and doesn't look like competing for the first team squad. So I'm really happy with the sales we've made and the money we've been able to bring in, and there's some really good prospects out on loan again, so hopefully they'll continue to develop. But we want to focus on the 5 that have joined the club, and the last one in particular has an interesting reason. So we start with Citinho from Ross County, just 1.3 million, but don't be fooled by that fee. He is a fantastic young left back. He can also play on the right quite naturally as well, despite being a left footer. 2.5 star ability, 4.5 potential, and he's a young left back who's going to be our backup this season. Rated pretty similarly to Lonergan-Irwin and signed for a 20 million profit. But it did raise another problem later on. Lonergan-Irwin was of course homegrown in the country, whereas Coutinho isn't, having come from Scotland, and that meant that we ran out of spaces in the squad, which led to the unnecessary changes in the goalkeeper role. So Coutinho's going to be a good signing, a good deputy to Moraes. The next one was Jay Fuller. To be honest, when he came, I didn't even remember signing him. We'd pre-agreed a deal a long time ago, and now he's gone on loan to Notts County. 1.5 star ability, 3.5 potential if he gets there, and he's going to be a decent young player, and perhaps we'll get a sell-on fee for him later. Then we get to the three big ones in the summer. First was Torquay United. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that right, probably not. Another young Norwegian centre-half, alongside Mon Iversen, who he had beforehand. Just 20 years old and already 25 caps for his country. Fantastic player coming from Celtic. Has made first team appearances at Rosenborg and Juventus too. So plenty of established clubs he's played for. 3-star ability, 5-star potential. A wonder kid centre-half. And we had two options to sign this summer in the position, and we chose this one for one very specific reason. His personality is a model citizen, and he is going to be the perfect tutor for players in his career, so even if he ends up only being backup quality, we'll keep him at the club as long as possible. So the idea is that long term he'll be alongside McDonnell, but Mon Iversen will get the chance to impress too, as will Recchio, who's been doing quite well. Then next is Alexander Yeladian. He's an £88 million signing from Spurs, although a little bit of that is in instalments, and he's the right winger we desperately needed. 4-star ability, 5-star potential, 21 years of age, 34 caps for Uruguay and plenty of goals as well. And just look at his stats, they speak for themselves. Technically he's got all the right attributes. Physically he's an absolute monster, by far the best player at the club, and he's also really strong mentally, something you don't always get in a winger. He's been playing for Benfica and Tottenham for years, despite his relatively young age, and I've got no doubts he's going to be a superstar if we can keep him fit here at Torquay. We may have overpaid very slightly, but we're going to get 8 or 9 years of service out of him. He'll certainly take us through to the end of the series, and I think he's going to be a fantastic player for us. And then finally it's the one we signed, not because we needed him, probably not much better than Maxwell actually, and a much higher fee because he is homegrown, and that's what we needed in the squad. So Shane Mason-Smith joins from Leicester, £20 million for a 22-year-old goalkeeper, 3-star ability, 4.5 potential, so he could yet be world class, and even displace Jordanovic later down the line, and he's a slight upgrade on Maxwell, having played for Leicester and Norwich in the past. At 22 he's made over 150 league appearances, so he's really experienced for his age, and he's an under-21 international for England too, so he certainly seems to be attracting attention from people that matter at the top level. So a really decent backup keeper, and of course he'll play in cup competitions this year. So a really good transfer window I feel, maybe one signing more than we would have got otherwise. Mason-Smith for Maxwell wasn't necessary, it was just because we ran out of homegrown players. But the other 3 first teamers are all ones that we wanted to do, and they're positions with highlighted weaknesses in the past. 2 of them are going to be long-term starters. Yeladian and Hull, the centre-half, will fall into that category. Coutinho and Mason-Smith backups for now, but of course they'll get the chance during the season. So with that done, it's time to get into the Community Shield final. We're playing Manchester City, the league champions, at Wembley. We're missing Ray Probert, who we'd kept here as a backup this year, again because he meets the homegrown quota, and Tariq Apoku's doubtful as well, so he's not going to be risked in the squad today. Lee Rutherford's just back from a hamstring strain too, so he's not been put in the 18 either. So you can see from here where the unhappy players are. Stojanovic wanted a new deal, but we can't pay him more than anyone else at the club. Bacanes won't sign a new deal at all. He wants to go to Chelsea and earn big money. Richard Quirk's unhappy with the contract we gave him. His agent agreed the deal, but then he rejected it. And then we've also got Boubacar Sylla on the left, who wanted to go to Manchester City, today's opponents in the Community Shield. So we've got a mixture in terms of our lineup. 2 players coming in to make their debuts, 2 players on the bench that could also do so, and then outside the squad we've left a couple of people out, just as we want to rotate a little and give some people opportunities. So Mason-Smith's going to start in goal. He goes in ahead of the unhappy Stojanovic. Quirk and Moraes are the fullbacks, with McDonnell, who's not up to match fitness, alongside Hull, the new centre-half, and then Bakanez in the holding role with Keita and Omar in the middle. The midfield three are still at full strength. They're the three that will be starting the season. And then Sousa retains his place on the right just because he needs some match fitness, and Yaladian's not quite up to speed yet. He's got a good match sharpness, but his condition isn't great. So Sousa plays on the wing with Silla, and then Alex Andrade's up front on his own. A few good options on the bench, although we're not quite up to full speed yet. So let's go and get into this game against City and hope we don't embarrass ourselves. I'm sure they won't be playing their first 11 either, but we never know what to expect in this match. It looks like they've got a few big players out there, certainly the likes of Herkes and Mane. We've seen every time we've played them in the past. They've got a few slightly higher squad numbers there, but I think that's pretty much a first team for them. So it's going to make things incredibly difficult today. But as Stuart Jellin says to the lads, the pressure's off. We just want to go and tell them to enjoy the match. Most of the lads are relaxed. We've got a little tunnel interview as well. He's asking us why we're not playing certain players, but we're not going to give any sort of clues to the rifts at the club, particularly with the same 2 or 3 who always want to leave every window. The only one of the players who are a little unhappy I'm worried about is Bakanez, the holding midfielder. He's the club captain, of course, so he's more influential, and he's only got 2 years left on his contract too. We've been trying to get him to sign one for nearly 2 years, but unfortunately we've not been able to do so. So as soon as he's not unhappy, we will make him a big offer, hoping he can be the future of our club. Early on it's City with possession at the back. Herkes getting it from Alonso. He goes down the line to the winger. Back inside to Alonso again. City keeping the ball quite deep in their half. No real rush from them to get forward. Is Alonso to Castano in the middle. Of course, let me know down in the comments if you think we'll win this one. I'm not so sure, but we'll wait and see. We've also got the European Super Cup final to come. That's the one I'm looking forward to a bit more. In that one we face another English opponent in Chelsea, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get one over on them, as we have on 1 or 2 occasions in the league. It's Moraes on the left hand side to Omar. He's been challenged but it falls to Andrade, out to Silla on the left wing, and he goes back to Keita. Brilliant effort from 25 yards, but it does go just wide of the post, and with 10 minutes gone it's still 0-0, though we have had our first decent chance. Is Alonso on the right with Rhodes though, as City coming forward at the other end. Castano shoots from distance and it's a brilliant save from Mason Smith, behind for a corner kick to City, who continue to put on some pressure. It's the first shot on target of the match so far, but the corner goes straight into the hands of the keeper. It's City in midfield with Castano, out to the left hand side to Herkes. He delivers from deep and it's a good flicked header, but Mason Smith gets down to his left and he holds the shot pretty comfortably. It's a free kick on the right for Omar, into the back post, and it's gone all the way in. It's one of those free kicks you see every now and then. It's that sort of angle where you can curl it in towards the back post. It missed all of the players for the flick on, none of the defenders got a touch, and in the end it just squirmed into the far bottom corner, and Omar's given us the lead at Wembley. We won 2 finals there last year, hence we're playing in this game anyway, and now it looks like we could be on for a third. What a performance it's been so far. Considering we're missing a few players too, we certainly can't complain about the scoreline at half time. We're going to go and talk to the lads. It's been a really even match, so we'll say exactly the same again. Stuart Jellin's spot on, there's no pressure at all. The lads are relaxed and they can go out and express themselves as Omar gets the ball from the kickoff. It's Bakanez back to McDonnell. Omar again out to Moraes on the left. He tries to switch it, but it's an awful ball, and the highlight ends though we're back with Andrade. He has a free kick from 30 yards blocked. Out to Omar on the right and now Silla. Into the box and shoots, but it's blocked, and he's cleared away as far as Montero. 5 minutes gone in the second half, and we still lead 1-0 against City. The one problem we have got now is Andrade's picked up a knock, and it's the only position we don't have a sub in, so Daniel Kozza will have to deputise there, which means Silla may have to see out 90 minutes. Kozzel's pretty confident up front anyway, so he'll be happy playing as an advanced forward. It's City with a throw on the left hand side, but the highlight ends with a quarter of the game to go. 20 left now, so we will make some more subs. Keita's looking nervous in central midfield. Dimitri Lapin will come on for him. I want to try and get the debutants on as well, but I'm going to leave that a little bit later. We will make some more subs with 15 to go. We're just trying to spread them out a little. Corner for City with 15 minutes left, into the back post and it's blocked by McDonnell. Fantastic closing down of the shot there as Alonso delivers an in-swinger. To the back post and headed by McDonnell. Cleared away as far as Daniel Kozul now. He's got a chance to break over halfway, but he's been dispossessed by Rhodes, the fullback. 12 minutes left, so we'll make some more changes. Bakkaner struggling for fitness, not had his best game either. Raphael needs some game time, so he'll come on for him. We're also going to bring on Mon Iversen at the back. He'll replace his compatriot Hull. A decent debut, solid enough from him, so no complaints about his performance. And then on the right hand side of midfield, I want to bring on Yeladian, but we're going to leave the two new players until the last few minutes, and we'll bring them on in stoppage time for an appearance. 5 minutes left and it's a throw at left back for Moraes. He's given it away in the box. That is a disastrous goal to concede, and it looks like we're going to be taken to penalties now. That is absolutely awful defending, and what a stupid way to give away the goal. We've got an injury to Sousa on the right wing, so the Yeladian's going to have to come on for him. Neither of them are very good penalty takers, so it won't impact on the shootout. And now Moraes has dropped to a 6.2 after that mistake, so Zitinho can come on for him. He's no better a penalty taker either, as City have got a throw on the right. It's flicked on into the box again, and we could have thrown this game away, but what a save from Mason Smith in the top corner. Stretches out and gets a fingertip to it, and now we're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We're going to drop to a balanced mentality just to make sure we don't concede again, as City have got on top in the last few minutes as Matthias de Ligt comes on for them. It's Raphael to Mon Iversen at the back. 3 minutes of stoppage time remaining. Omar gets it wide to Silla on the left wing. There's one or two running off him here into Yeladian, who shoots, but it's blocked by the defender and cleared away. We're back with City with a free kick on halfway. Abstein gets it into Alonso. Out to Montero and now Alonso again. City getting pressure on the edge of the box. De Ligt up in the left wing position for some reason as it's back to Alonso again, but the shot's blocked and Yeladian runs away as City are back with a throw on the right. We've seen out the 5 minutes of stoppage time, but we're still seeing a highlight for some reason, and surely the whistle's got to go any second and we'll be able to face a penalty shootout. Montero again delivers, headed away to the edge of the box. We've played 5.5 minutes now as it's cleared away and we win a free kick. Surely that'll be it in this match. Penalties beckon any moment. Mason Smith could yet be the hero this afternoon after he's made a few brilliant saves already. We're into penalties and we've got some good takers on the pitch, which is a little bit different to usual. So the likes of Omar and Kozul are both available, although none of the rest on that lineup are. So let's see who the best options are aside from that. We'll pick our 5 and then we'll be back for the shootout. Into the shootout then, and it's Manchester City to go first. Mason Smith facing Mane. What can the keeper do? He saves his first one. That is fantastic work by the new keeper, and maybe his heroics will show today and they'll get their reward of the trophy. Omar takes a free kick and smashes it into the top corner. The keeper barely gets a chance to move, and it looks like we're on the ABBA shootout here as Daniel Kozul's now stepping up. He puts the keeper the wrong way as well, down into the bottom left corner, and Alonso steps up for City with them already trailing 2-0. Here he comes up against Mason Smith, no chance to save that one. In the top corner, a fantastic strike, and now it's Castano to equalise. Let's see what he can do, the right-footed player. Into the corner past Mason Smith. No chance of saving that one either, as the new signing steps up to the spot. Yeladian faces the City keeper. His shot saved, and we've got a villain on his debut as well. 2-2 after 3 penalties apiece, and this is where our good takers run out. Is Silla stepping up on the wing? He puts it into the corner. The keeper probably should have saved that. It didn't look a great penalty, but now it's Montero for City as the score's 3-2 to the Torquay. It's into the bottom corner under the Mason Smith. Not the best bit of goalkeeping that. And now the number 9 steps up, who scored the equaliser. We need some heroics from the keeper, and that is absolutely terrible. It's 4-3 to City, and now we've got to equalise with the last one. Lots of pressure on whoever's taking it. It's Dimitri Lapin coming up to the spot. His penalty taking rating is 8 out of 20, so I'm not entirely confident at this moment. Here he comes then, it's Lapin v the City keeper. He must score to keep us in it. Both sides have missed one. Lapin puts it past the keeper. Went the right way, but no chance of saving. Now Raphael step up to the spot. Can he put it in and put the pressure back on City? He can't, it's saved to the top corner. And surely we won't get away with it twice. City just need to score to win it. Here's Lettieri then, just needs to score to win. He was the man who scored for City. I was wrong earlier on, and he puts it in the corner. It's a 5-4 penalty victory for City. Devastating way to lose, although a very promising performance for the season ahead. A few players missing from the spot. These things happen unfortunately, but over the 90 minutes we were a decent side. We just gave away a ridiculously stupid goal. We're going to have to adjust our throwing settings, as we can't keep conceding chances like that, but in the end we'll tell the lads we sympathise with them, as it wasn't the worst performance in the world. So we lose out in the end, but a decent day out at Wembley. Our fans are getting quite used to playing there now, and it looked so good early on in the shootout, even though we gave away that silly late goal. Andrade's picked up a knock, and that's the thing I'm more worried about, but it's only 4 to 5 days, so he should be back next week, as will Lee Rutherford up front too, so we'll have a couple of good options there. Raphael misses in the shootout. Yaladian missed his penalty as well. A debut for 4 players at the club though, and Mason Smith looked fantastic. We'll deal with the press conference off camera, but of course we've got 5 days of transfer window to worry about. I don't think there's going to be any more signings, unless one of these lads forces their way out. Obviously Richard Quirk will definitely not go, as we need him to fill our homegrown quota. Both trained at the club and the nation he is, so he's the one that definitely won't leave. Ray Probert will be here as well to make up those numbers, but aside from that there could be one more potentially, but I don't think we'll be bringing anyone in this window. We don't want to make any more signings if we can avoid it. It will only be if someone forces their way out, which I'm hoping I'll be able to stop. So unusually for our series with Torquay, we are going to play the first few Premier League games off camera. You can see we've been given a really friendly start on paper. The first 6 games are all incredibly winnable before we face 4 of the top 6 in succession after that. We've also got the Champions League group stages to worry about, but we're going to be back for the European Super Cup final, one of those 6 competitions I wanted to win, and we face Chelsea in a neutral stadium. Let's find out where it will be hosted. It's in the Allianz Arena in Germany, so a fantastic occasion again for the fans, and we're going to be playing in another European final, just 2 episodes after the last one. But if you did enjoy this episode and that pretty entertaining game against City, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the performance, as well as the new signings and the transfer window. Are there any players you're sad to see go? Of course there were a couple we weren't planning to sell, but unfortunately I misjudged the homegrown quotas. But we're looking forward to our European Super Cup next time. Let me know who you think's going to win that final, and how do you think we're going to do in the league this year? Will we suffer a European hangover, or will we be right up in the top 4 again? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this story. Don't forget we've got a new schedule change on the channel, so this series will run every day from Sunday to Thursday at 4:30, 5 days in a row, so check back tomorrow for the next one. We've then got our Snooker 19 career mode series on Friday at the same time, and in 3 episodes a week from our Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. And a massive thank you to everyone that supported that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough we did beforehand. But a massive thanks for watching this one, and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for another important episode as we face Chelsea in the Super Cup final.